Let's talk about the paper cuts that bleed like wounds. Have you ever had someone look shocked and say, "Wow, you're so articulate," like they weren't expecting brilliance to come out of your mouth? Or maybe you've been hit with, "So, where are you really from?" As if your presence in that boardroom, hospital, or leadership space came with an expiration date. Spoiler alert, that's not curiosity. That's a microaggression, and it stings. You see, these aren't just awkward moments. They're small slashes that hit your identity, your safety, and your leadership credibility. And when they happen over and over again, that's death by 1,000 cuts. Welcome to Leadership Lessons, the podcast where we grow from the inside out. I am Dr. Fredrick Lee II, and today's episode is a necessary one. Microaggressions and leadership, naming the cuts you're taught to ignore. See, in our last episode, we talked about toxic workplaces, but today we're getting even more real. Microaggressions are the quiet killers of confidence, culture, and career growth, and too many leaders are taught to endure them in silence. So let's stop whispering. Let's name it. Let's call it what it is. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, but with a smile. The term microaggression was coined by Harvard psychiatrist Dr. Chester Pierce in 1970. He defined microaggressions as subtle, stunning, often automatic verbal and nonverbal exchanges, which are really put-downs delivered to people of marginalized groups. Let me break that down in real talk. It's the stuff people say and do that chips away at your humanity, all while insisting they didn't mean anything by it. You're just taking it the wrong way. Microaggressions are insidious and sneaky. They rarely raise their voice, but they always leave a mark. They hide behind phrases like, "You're not like the others." That translates into, "I have a stereotype and you're the exception to it, so I'll tolerate it by creating a separate group for you," instead of challenging and trying to unlearn the nonsense that I'm holding on to. Here's another one. "Ooh, can I touch your hair?" That translates into, "Okay, you're different. I want access to your body like a museum exhibit. You're on display for me." And my favorite, "Oh, you speak such good English. You're so articulate." Translation, "I didn't expect someone who looks like you to sound professional." See, these are not compliments. They're slaps in the face dressed up as curiosity. They seem small, harmless even, but they're not. Because here's the truth. It's not about the moment. It's about the message. The message these comments send to people include, "You don't fully belong here. Your presence is an anomaly. I get to define what's normal because I'm privileged and you're not it." And this is not just me sitting in my dining room talking a good talk. This is backed up with data. A 2023 McKinsey & Company report found that over 60% of Black and brown professionals regularly experience racial microaggressions at work. Even more telling, 45% said those experiences made them question staying in their job. Think about that. That's almost half of the people are considering leaving, not because of a lack of talent, but because of the emotional labor just from existing. That's not interpersonal. That's institutional. That's not minor. That's structural harm dressed up in corporate casual from the local banana republic. This is what makes emotional intelligence so important, because the skill, the EI skill that helps you in these situations is emotional self-awareness and reality testing. So emotional self-awareness helps you recognize what you're feeling in real time so you can stop gaslighting yourself into silence. Reality testing gives you the power to say, "I'm not imagining this. That was inappropriate. That was real." Because the real harm isn't just the comment. It's the pressure to keep smiling through it, explaining it, or excusing it. Again, microaggressions are often dismissed because they seem minor on the surface. It's a raised eyebrow here. It's a stale joke there. It's a well-meaning but condescending comment wrapped in a professional tone. But see, that's what makes them so dangerous. It's not just one cut. It's 999 cuts before it. It's when someone says, you're aggressive, when you're just trying to be direct. It's being talked over and then asked to take notes. It's having your suggestion ignored until it comes out of someone else's mouth. It's laughing off the joke again. It's ignoring the comment again. It's biting your tongue so hard it bleeds again. And the worst part, the absolute worst, is you've been conditioned to endure it with a smile. Because somewhere along the way, many of us, especially Black professionals, were taught to assimilate to survive. We were told, don't rock the boat, just work twice as hard, keep your head down, don't make them uncomfortable. That's not professional advice. That's a survival strategy. And while it may have helped some of us stay in the room, it came at a cost of being fully seen in the room. That's called Black fatigue, a term coined by Mary Frances Winters. It's the cumulative emotional, physical, and psychological exhaustion that comes from being hypervisible and undervalued simultaneously. It's the burnout of constantly managing other people's discomfort while suppressing your own truth. And when senior leaders shrug off emotional intelligence conversations, it worsens the situation. These are senior leaders who say things like, this is work, not therapy. We don't have time for feelings. I didn't need that stuff to succeed. Why should you? But see, here's the thing. Emotional intelligence is not fluff. It's not a soft skill. It's the difference between workplaces that thrive and ones that hemorrhage talent. Leaders without emotional intelligence don't just miss red flags. They actually create them. They perpetuate cultures where microaggressions go unchecked because they mistake silence for harmony. They confuse assimilation with professionalism. They reward endurance over authenticity. But see, we know better. We know the emotional costs. We feel it in our bodies. We carry it in our nervous systems. We take it home and sometimes into our sleep. That cost has a name. It's called racial battle fatigue. Coined by Dr. William A. Smith, it refers to the psychological toll of constantly navigating hostile or invalidating environments as a person of color. It has physical symptoms that show up as chronic anxiety, disrupted sleep, emotional numbing, self-doubt, high blood pressure, depression, and yes, a deep urge to leave a job that never really saw you in the first place. And we're not talking hypotheticals here. And again, this is not just some dude sitting in his dining room on a Sunday afternoon recording with his iPhone. According to the American Psychological Association, the APA, employees who experience microaggressions report significantly higher stress levels and emotional exhaustion. These environments directly impact retention, performance, and well-being. See, this is where emotional intelligence becomes your anchor, not just for responding to others, but for also to protect yourself. So those emotional intelligence concepts that assist you here, impulse control. Impulse control keeps you from reacting in ways that cost you your peace or position, okay? It can also cost you your job. So impulse control is important. Stress tolerance. This helps you survive environments that weren't built for your thriving while you make something better for yourself, because we all can't walk away from the job that we have. So stress tolerance is what helps you to survive in that environment. Emotional self-awareness. This reminds you this isn't about you being too sensitive. This concerns them being too conditioned to notice the harm they're causing. Now, let me be clear. You weren't too emotional. You were undervalidated. You were over-surveilled, and you were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's ignorance. But now, right now, we can name it. We don't minimize it. We move through it with strategy, support, and self-respect. When you grow tired of being cut and told to smile, these change moves will help you stay grounded, reclaim your power, and lead with clarity. Number one, I've been saying it throughout this episode, you have to name the moment. You don't always have to call it out publicly, but you do have to name it to yourself. Otherwise, you risk gaslighting yourself into silence. So, write it down. Say it to a trusted colleague. Tell your therapist. Name it so your nervous system knows you didn't imagine that. You do that by keeping a microaggression log in your notes, in your journal. You write it out in statements like, I just reacted to the comment. Write out the comment. I didn't feel respectful. Who said the comment? Reflect back on it. What made that moment feel off? And what did it take from me? This matters because naming it affirms your reality. It protects your emotional clarity in environments that blur it on purpose. See, this is reality testing, one of those EQ skills. It helps you assess the moment accurately, especially when your experiences are minimized or invalidated. The next one, interrupt with curiosity. So you don't have to fight, but you can ask questions that shift the discomfort back to where it belongs. I love this one. So this person makes this inappropriate microaggressive comment to you. So you fire back with, and you explain what you meant by that. Why do you ask that? This one is my favorite. And I love saying this one after somebody tells me. The one that I get a lot is, oh, you are so articulate. I get it all the time, especially when I speak at conferences. And this is a good one. So the person comes up to you and is like, oh, you're so articulate. Help me understand. How did you expect me to respond? How did you expect me to sound? How did you expect me to speak? Say it calmly, clearly, without sarcasm, no attitude. Just let the words speak for themselves. Make it their job to explain the bias that's baked into the comment and leave them in silence. Let the silence linger if they stumble. It's powerful. How did you expect me to speak? Oh, well, you're not obligated to absorb every offensive moment in silence. This tactic allows you to reclaim control without escalating. That comment is not about you. It's about them. Let them explain it. This is assertiveness. It allows you to express yourself confidently and clearly without aggression or apology. The next change move. Build your anchor team. This means you need people who get it, people who won't tell you to brush it off, people who see the full you and help you stay rooted when microaggressions make you question your value. So this is you identifying trusted colleagues, mentors, an affinity group, subscribing to this podcast, drop it in the comments. We are building a community right here, right now, where we will understand what you are dealing with. Use group chats, coaching sessions, safe meetups. You need decompression zones. Don't just vent though. Validate the feelings and strategize on how to tolerate it. This matters because community is emotional armor. You shouldn't have to process racism or bias alone. This helps build your emotional intelligence skill around interpersonal relationships. It strengthens your ability to connect, receive support, and build resilience through trusted connection. Our fourth change move, choose strategic silence. You don't owe anybody a reaction to their disrespect. Sometimes silence is power. Sometimes it's protection. You can choose when to disengage for your peace. You don't have to say anything. You can just ask yourself, will this cost me energy I can't afford to give right now? Because sometimes you just ain't in the mood. Sometimes you just ain't in the mood. And here comes somebody with their ignorant comment, and it's just like, again. You can rehearse a response. Noted. Interesting. Those are two of my favorites. Somebody makes an inappropriate comment. Oh, you're so articulate. That's interesting. Or simple head nod and pivot. Turn around and walk away. Use your silence as a reset, not a retreat. Reset. Giving yourself time to put that load down somewhere, because you don't need to carry it. You got enough that you carry it. You're gonna miss your bus. You can't hurry up because you got too much stuff. You're not taking this on. There's nothing weak about conserving your energy. Silence can be a conscious act of emotional sovereignty. This builds impulse control. It's that EQ skill which allows you to pause, regulate, and choose when and if a response is worth your energy. They're the ignorant party, not you. When something happens once, it's annoying. When it happens repeatedly, it's a pattern. You need to document the patterns. Documentation turns gaslighting into data. Use a private journal, Google Docs, email draft folder, whatever you want to use. You want to put in their dates, times, what was said, who said it, how it made you feel, who was in the room, witnesses, screenshots, email receipts, read receipts. This is your record. If you ever need to escalate or protect yourself legally or professionally, it's not petty. It's being prepared. This is self-regard. Self-regard is that EQ skill that affirms your experiences matter and that protecting your peace is a leadership act. You don't have to carry microaggressions in your body anymore. You can name them, interrupt them, buffer them, document them. And most importantly, you can stop believing they're your fault. These change moves don't just help you cope, they help you lead. Now, let's be honest. Leading while navigating microaggressions is its own full-time job. It's showing up to do your actual job while also decoding biased comments, monitoring your tone so you're not labeled aggressive, filtering your expressions so you're not seen as too emotional, and smiling through slights that would never be said to your other peers. It's performance on top of performance. It's armor on top of expertise. And it is exhausting. But hear me clearly. You are not the problem. You are not too sensitive. You're not reading into this. You're not making it about race. It was already about race the moment they decided you were the exception and not the expectation. What you deserve, what we all deserve, are workplaces where you don't have to translate your trauma into professionalism, where you don't have to decode every sentence like you're an emotional Morse code, where you don't have to armor up just to be seen as competent. And here's where I want to challenge a myth, especially for my leaders that are listening. There is still a belief in many boardrooms, especially from old school leadership models, that emotions have no place at work. You've heard it. This is business, not personal. You can't take things too seriously. We're not here to coddle feelings. But let me say this loud and clear. Ignoring emotion is not strength, it's neglect. And dismissing empathy doesn't make you effective, it makes you dangerous. Because the number one reason employees leave isn't salary, it's how they're treated. It's feeling unseen, unheard, and undervalued. Don't believe me? According to a Gallup poll, teams with high emotional intelligence in leadership have 63% lower turnover and 22% higher profitability. That's not soft skills. That's solid strategy. So no, acknowledging emotion at work does not make you weak. Being empathetic does not make you soft. It makes you sustainable. It means you're building spaces where people don't have to shrink to stay, where belonging is not a branding campaign, it's a lived experience, where leadership is not about control, it's about connection. And this is where emotional intelligence becomes your superpower. Emotional intelligence isn't just about managing emotions, it's about protecting your peace while staying in purpose. It's your permission to pause, to breathe, to check in with yourself before the job checks you out. And let me leave you with this. You are not too sensitive. You are too smart to ignore the patterns, too aware to stay silent, too valuable to keep shrinking for comfort. You are not here to perform safety for others. You're here to create it for yourself and for those coming behind you. That's leadership. That's emotional intelligence. And that's how we change the workplace from the inside out. So as you navigate through your week, here's your coaching prompt. What's one microaggression you've let slide? If you could go back, what would you say or do differently? Put it in the comments. Say it out loud. Don't brush it off this time. Name the moment that stuck with you, because healing starts with honesty and your story might help someone else speak up too. I read every response. Let's open this conversation together. So if this episode spoke to your spirit, don't keep it inside. You deserve to be heard, affirmed, and supported. I offer one-on-one coaching, executive training, and team workshops for leaders navigating high-pressure environments and identity-based stress. Email me directly, info@mrchangeyourlife.com. DM or follow me at Dr. Fredrick Lee II on Instagram and Facebook. I need you to like this episode, drop your story in the comments, share it with someone cutting themselves on the glass ceiling, and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Our next episode on leadership lessons, healing while leading, navigating pain and power at the same time, because leadership doesn't pause just because you're hurting. So let's discuss how to carry both. Until next time, remember, change is constant, but your growth is intentional. I'm Dr. Fredrick Lee II, and this has been your leadership lesson.